AITA? For being upset at my sister getting my college fund money? Hi, I am 17 female. My sister 21 female was always a rebellious child but never got in trouble. Our grandfather left us both funds for college in his inheritance. The only catch was to actually go to college. My sister was the party animal and she got pregnant at 18, my parents took care of everything, and she still lived with us with no father in picture. I wanted to start looking for colleges now to be better prepared, but turns I have no money left. I'm literally sobbing while writing this. My parents took my entire money and gave it to my sister. I raised this issue on Christmas and I'm being blamed for ruining Christmas and not loving my niece or my sister. I told them yes, I really hate each and every one of them. I feel like a butthole for that. My parents have offered $10,000 in exchange to calm me down, but that amount was literally $80,000. They are now telling me that I'm greedy. Please Reddit, help me. Am I really the butthole? Should I take what they are offering me right now because according to them this is what they have got? NTA. If your grandfather left it to you in a will or any other legal document, you may have grounds to sue for the money. I can? If it was in the will. Go ask legal. I am strongly recommending you go straight to an attorney, and not approach the legal subreddit. Many of them are armchair lawyers that do not, in fact, practice law, and will use that forum to judge people, based on their own prejudices. It's not only happened to me, I was attacked and told I was legally helpless while my daughter was being repeatedly threatened by aggressive dogs, for years, and I could do nothing but move, and how dare I ask anyone to leash their free-roaming animals, but many others. The mods do not enforce their own rules about comments and are not helpful. Ask an actual attorney in your area. There is also the chance at least one of them or friends or family is on Reddit and will recognize or keep an eye out for your post, which will display your locality, and alert your parents to the possibility of legal action, which will warn them to cover their tracks. As an actual lawyer, this is the best advice. I can't tell you how often I see incorrect advice on Reddit in general, let alone that sub. I'm not a lawyer, but the only thing I'd possibly use that sub for are very basic things like what kind of lawyer I need or the first step of whatever process I was trying to do, and even that might be a stretch. Yes. Any advice you get that basically isn't go talk to a lawyer is likely bad advice. I've regularly seen good and accurate advice there before. The trick is it was buried among terrible advice. It's fairly close to impossible to tell which is which. It's the reality of any time you ask for experts in a sub that's democratically run. The subs like Ask Historians are like exceptions because of how heavily they're moderated. What happens is the majority of people on there are all uneducated while a minority are educated, but everyone has equal voting power, so eventually bad opinions get voted to the top, by other people who can't understand the right answer. Eventually, people get fed up and the majority of the original experts leave and you get left with a bunch of non-experts and a few experts who are stubborn enough to stay. It's a derivative of the whole market for lemons concept. Which is what it should be. At best, the sub breaks down situations into 4 categories. DIY jobs like small claims or demand letters, do approach a lawyer, AITA, and just delete this post and approach a criminal defense attorney yesterday. The rest is just popcorn, with the exception of links to support networks like RAIN and perhaps local resources. It has some great entertainment value, laughing out loud. Pretty sure there's a video on YouTube of an actual lawyer debunking the legal advice Reddit. That should tell you everything. Legal Eagle has done several, and I'm sure many other lawtubers, have as well. Web link. His channel is pretty great. Very entertaining. As someone who's been working in liability insurance claims for 10+ years, whenever someone asks me legal questions/advice, which I'm not qualified to give, obviously, but I can always just offer opinions, the first thing I or anyone else I work with will say is we don't deal in hypotheticals. Even a straight question is a hypothetical because there's a lot of nuance. I find the issue with legal subreddits is that someone will go in and tell their version of a story which might omit or otherwise not comport with facts. Someone on Reddit, even a real lawyer, is never going to be able to offer meaningful advice for your situation based on a few paragraphs of whatever you're upset about. I work in insurance as well, and we don't deal in hypotheticals is obnoxious. I know why we do it, but it's incredibly unhelpful and I usually just see it used as a reason to weasel out of answering a legitimate question. Apparently that sub is just a bunch of cops spouting off. As an actual attorney, I can tell you that you should ignore any legal advice on Reddit. The amount of incorrect advice is incredible, and consult a licensed attorney in your jurisdiction for any issue you may have. I've also heard they'll remove anything they disagree with, even if it's true and helpful. They'll also leave up things that are incorrect and possibly harmful, because they agree with it. I commented once telling someone who exactly they needed to contact. I worked with a lawyer in the exact area the original post lived. They deleted it and told me I couldn't tell them that. I can't tell them the free lawyer who would snap up their case in a heartbeat, especially if they mentioned they were referred by a worker at the company I was at? Nope. Well, I'll just tell them exactly what to Google. Nope. I posted in there once asking what I can do about an automatic ticket I got from the city of Chicago for parking by a fire hydrant. I was not in Chicago anywhere near that time. I was there a week prior to the ticket date, and also parked in a marked stall nowhere near any fire hydrants. During the day and time the ticket was issued, we were driving from Madison, Wisconsin to Milwaukee, Wisconsin. They all assumed I was lying and that I was just trying to get out of the ticket. If I really did park there that day, why would I be posting in /legal advice asking how to prove I wasn't there? Anyway, they were no help. My $150 ticket ended up doubling while I was trying to get evidence together, and I just said F it and paid it. F Chicago. I'm not going anywhere near that crap hole ever again because I will die mad about this ticket. Yeah, I posted about a roommate trying to get me kicked out of our apartment by claiming I was a hooker. Half the comments accused me of lying, and said I probably was a prostitute. As if I would go to an anonymous sub as a broke college student desperately looking for help and lie. Like, why on earth would I lie to the people I wanted help from? They also advised me to illegally record her. Aw, that sucks. You shouldn't have paid it. Let it compound until you won. Ha. So true. The lawyers who post there basically say the same thing too. Consult a lawyer. I mean, that's basically all you should use legal advice for, to see if there's an actual possible legal issue, and to find out what type of lawyer you need and what you need to tell them. Very, very occasionally there will be a lawyer familiar with the laws that can give a more concrete answer, but usually it's just a place to start. You want to trust an estate's lawyer, or someone who specializes in will disputes. If you can, get a copy of the will ASAP. If it was in a will, you have every right to sue. Obviously your family won't talk to you anymore, but honestly $80,000 is no laughing matter. The fact they took it from you kind of speaks volumes of what they think of you. And they're gaslighting you, saying you're being greedy. I highly doubt they spent $80,000 on your niece. Think about that a moment. Good luck, cop. I recommend at least talking to an attorney and make sure you know the fees involved up front. That's terrible. $80,000 is literally life-changing money for most middle-class and lower families. I guess technically they are saying they paid $160,000 on niece? Because they took sister's money too? Am I reading that right? As an actual probate attorney, wills and trusts like this, I agree. What really matters here is how the money was given and what that document said. There are lots of different ways to give/get inheritance, so no one can give you a real answer without seeing the documents. I imagine you have no access to the documents, and a real lawyer can help you figure how to get them for review. Yeah, it makes no sense to me why people would get legal advice off of Reddit when law offices everywhere give you free consultations. There's literally no point in it. While I agree with this, be careful. If your parents don't have $80,000, the suing them for $80,000 won't get you the $80,000 and it will piss off your family. Not saying you shouldn't do it, but this is a nuclear option and there's a more than likely possibility you'll never get that money back even if you do win. No. The nuclear option was chosen by the parents when they subverted Op's inheritance and gave her money to her sister. Original post needs to ask a local attorney about her options for collecting on that judgment. Just because they don't have $80,000 on hand to give her doesn't mean they won't have to pay that amount back to her. Might be able to get a judge to garnish the wages of the parents directly. I'm an actual attorney and this is my advice too. As a lawyer who had a different account banned for offering correct legal advice that the mods of the legal advice sub didn't like, I fully support this comment. As another lawyer who also had a different account banned for offering correct legal advice that the mods there didn't like, fr/legal advice and everyone on it. Reddit link. Yes, you can and should recoup that money. Contact a lawyer. I don't know how to pursue this legally. I don't have a living relative, only aunt, she is not in the country right now. I have no idea how to do this. Try to get a hold of a copy of the will. Then Google lawyers in your area. You should be able to find one with a free first session, or also you could search for pro bono lawyers. Depending on the country, wills are public record, and if your family won't give it to you, a lawyer can get it. She can get it for a small fee from her government records department. And if Original Post doesn't have the funds for the fee, Original Post should start a GoFundMe. People eat up stuff like this. You might even get a lawyer that will take the case pro bono. She probably doesn't even need a copy of the will. She can explain her story to an estate attorney and they will be able to do that legwork for her. Edit. Actually, having thought on it for a second, the last thing she should do is start looking for the will, because it will only draw questions, attention, and retaliation from her parents. The reason you get an attorney to represent you is so that before making any moves or rash actions you get all your ducks in a row. That way, if the other party retaliates, you have already begun the legal process and can easily demonstrate their actions were retaliatory. Say, for example, they tried to kick you out once you served them with legal notice. Well, you now have an attorney ready to file emergency action with a judge to stop this from happening, compared to having to figure this out while homeless. As she's under 18, the police or CPS will force the parents to take her back unless they turn her care over to a friend or family member who accepts responsibility for her. Look for an estate lawyer and ask for a consultation. They should be able to help you navigate this. Your grandfather left each of you $80,000 and your parents gave your money to your sister when she got pregnant at 18? What happened to her $80,000? I would also like to know. I assume Original Post and family are Americans, judging by the exorbitant cost of education, so if the sister is under ACA/any type of insurance, birth and post-birth care should not have been in the tens of thousands if there were no complications. Even if she isn't, there's Medicaid. And failing that, if the parents blew up $30,000 running, that does not explain what portal opened and swallowed the other $120,000. I guess it really doesn't matter since it's effing dreadful regardless, but if they not only stole but also scapegoated, it's another level of sickening layer to top. Honestly, I think they're telling her that this sole incident took the $80,000, but unless the sister was uninsured when she gave birth, having a baby is otherwise expensive and not $80,000 expensive. In reality, they probably have been bleeding off amounts from this trust for years for living expenses and other things. My father was a probate lawyer before he passed away. You should be able to find someone in your area who will give you a free consultation and let you know how solid a case you have. Even if your parents don't have that kind of cash, after you get a judgment in the courts, your lawyer may be able to put a lien on any real estate they own, which means that when they sell the house, your cut will come out first. Really, it's probably best to get the consultation with the lawyer, find out what your options are, and then see if you can get your parents to recognize how badly they screwed up. Maybe once they see that an actual attorney says, yup, that's definitely fraud/theft, they may come to their senses. Or maybe your relationship with them will be totally screwed forever, but if that's the case, it is not your fault. NTA. I'm not a lawyer, but I do write press releases and such for a law firm out of state. Find out who drew up your grandfather's will, if possible, and talk to that firm. If you don't know, go talk to any lawyer who deals in estate laws. If the will specified the money was for you and meant for college, you could definitely sue. The very thing I thought. It's possible she could have them arrested for embezzlement or theft. Also, your family is gaslighting you. You have every reason to be upset with them. And they should pay it back, all of it. It also sounds like your sister is what they call the golden child. Is it possible you are the scapegoat? The one that often gets blamed and or put down or neglected in preference to the golden child. NTA. Be mad at your parents. They stole your money and now they're gaslighting you. If you can, you might want to contact a lawyer and see if any laws were broken with the theft of your inheritance. You may be able to sue for it back. It will burn bridges, but these bridges need burned anyway. Either way, cut these awful crooks out of your life the second you have the means to. I can't sue them right now, they will most likely kick me out and I have nowhere to go then. If you're 17, they cannot legally kick you out in a lot of places. Or maybe find a relative to stay with? Robbing you of that kind of money isn't something you can let them sweep under the rug. Your parents are thieves and cannot be trusted, don't let this go. A lot of places don't even let parents kick out 18-year-olds if they're still in high school. True, you can get emancipated, but I'm unfamiliar with that process. That's something the child has to do, the parents can't force it. Talk to a lawyer before you do anything. A conversation isn't a commitment to sue your parents, but you will walk away with a better understanding of your options. Sounds like you need to find a lawyer. If that money was explicitly left to you for education, then it should not have been touched. Also, WTH, did your parents spend, I'm assuming, 2x $80,000 on NTA? They said hospital bills, sister and baby. This is where my money went. Unless your sister or the baby were very sick and had no medical insurance, this seems very unlikely. Having a baby is expensive, but it is not $160,000 expensive barring extreme circumstances. Demand to see invoices. I'm pretty sure they won't be able to produce them. Unless that baby or your sister have a chronic or life-threatening condition, it's insane how they'd use $150,000 in 3 years. Ask to look at all invoices that would have been used with your money. Thank you for watching. If you like our videos, please like them on YouTube. And share them with your friends. Please subscribe to be the first to know about Red Rabbit Reader's new videos. We welcome your comments below. Another of our videos will begin shortly.